Joining us is Alicia Dennis.
Yes.
That's right. It's me.
You called as we're going on the air live. You couldn't have planned that any better, Alicia, if you would have tried.
I'm watching you. I'm like the eye in the sky. I'm just calling in.
You're supposed to investigate. You're supposed to investigate murders and horrific crimes, not us.
Well, we are killing it today, so.
I guess. Alicia Dennis, senior editor of crime, right, for People magazine?
That's right.
A lot of people think of People magazine, they think of just celebrity news, but you've always covered in the magazine itself stories about intriguing, we'll say, crime. And a few years ago, you turned this into a TV show, and it's a quite compelling show.
Thank you. We try, but you're right. It's funny because a lot of times people would say to me, "Wait, People magazine investigates. It's a crime show."
Mm-hmm.
And I'd have to remind everyone, People magazine has been around for a while, almost 50 years. And ever since its very first issue, there have been stories inside it about compelling people across the board, not just celebrities, but, heroes in your hometown and incredible reunions and people that found each other after years apart, as well as the crime stories that are national and unique to particular communities. So it's something that we've been doing for a while. The show is only in its sixth season, but it's remarkable.
Sixth season, but it's it was kind of ahead of the trend with the podcast where true crime is. That is the selling point for so much of that. And you guys were doing it before this explosion of interest, weren't you?
We were. It's interesting to me why people are so compelled by this. Have you wondered why, we all want to watch this so much? Like, what's going on with us?
Mm-hmm. Absolutely.
What's the matter with my brain? Why do I want to see this?
I remember just before the pandemic started, a friend of mine was going down to see a podcast, true crime podcast, live in Milwaukee at a rather substantial theater there, the Riverside Theater. And I noticed that they had 2 shows sold out, and there were all these different really great music acts and comedy acts playing. They didn't have sold out shows, but the true crime podcast. So that shows the level of interest. And like I said, you guys are ahead of the trend on this.
Right. And I have to wonder, why. And I think that maybe there's a little bit of a Monday morning quarterback thing that goes on for people where they want to sit there and see if they could figure it out, right? Yeah. You watch it and you're like, I know who it was. Oh, but no, it was somebody else. And so you're kind of right along with the investigators and the people inside the case from the beginning. So I think people do that to some degree. And then I think that there's kind of this fascination in how people behave and the idea that, do you really know your neighbor, or do you really know your best friend or your spouse or your girlfriend or your boyfriend? What are people hiding? And I think some of these cases do explore that.
Of course, we're from Wisconsin, where our serial killers can eat your serial killers. So we have a particular interest in that here.
Right. It's very cold.
Yeah.
Maybe it's because it's so cold.
You just need extra skin. That's
sure.
All. Oh, I'm
so
sorry.
what kind of stories are we looking at this season on the show on People Magazine Investigates on Discovery?
Well, we have a lot of different kinds of cases. We have mysteries. We have cases that maybe you can help us solve. We also have cases that our investigation did help bring about an arrest. We have a case that this season that happened in Croydon, Pennsylvania, where it had been decades that this family had gone without any answers. And us being able to poke around and look at it again, we talked to the DA and the police, who said, it was really that focus on it, again, that helped lead to the arrest. So that's very satisfying.
Oh, absolutely.
But, we have this incredible case today that premieres at 9 Eastern, and then it will be on Discovery Plus, so you can catch it anytime after that, about this mother and daughter who get caught up in a murder plot. And this little girl was just 11 when this happened within her family. And we have a story in the magazine this week, if you pick it up on Stance, where we have interviewed her now as a grown woman and talked to her about what this was like as an 11-year-old, as well as what she went through now. And you can see this episode in her own words and her looking at this case. And it's also chilling because we have footage from her at 11 talking to the local news station about what she's going through.
I mean, just looking through the synopsis, right, of all of the different towns that you're in next week, it's Gary, Indiana. The week following, you're in the Lewis-Clark Valley. There's something different, and there's something, I guess, that really resonates locally, but some of these stories we've heard about over the years.
Yeah, exactly. And I think that that's what we try to do within a season is we're going to bring you cases that you've never heard of. And you're like, wow, I didn't even know that something like that could happen in Coeur d'Alene, Idaho.
Right.
And then there will be other cases where you feel like you know everything about it. For example, the Pamela Hupp case, which has been covered. Right. And, there was the Renee Zellweger show and on all the different ways that people have looked at it. But if you watch our episode, I promise you will learn something new that you didn't know about the case that you thought you knew everything about. So we have a little bit of all of those kinds of things within the season.
It's People Magazine's Investigates. Tonight, again, 8 Central is when episode 2 of the 6th season of this show premieres on Investigation Discovery. Really quick, before you go.
And I'll just say this weekend, just watching the news, there's a lot of crap happens in Coeur d'Alene, Idaho.
That's a good point.
Yeah.
That's a good point. I thought I could just kind of, sneak that in there.
Yeah. Beautiful city. I've been there. But, that's kind of a crazy place. But, yeah.
Alicia, how does one become the senior editor of crime for People Magazine? You know what I mean? It's like it seems like such a weird sort of career path, but you've obviously done it and done it well.
That's really kind of you to say. Yeah, it does raise some eyebrows, and people talk about, well, is that on your business card, actually?
Yeah.
Like crime and everything? I started working at People as a freelancer in 2002 in all the different sections within the magazine, and worked in, I got to cover a Super Bowl, and I worked in music and movies and all these different places. And I'm really drawn to everyone's stories. Everyone has a story to tell, whether they're, famous or whether they're, within your community. And so I think when I was telling these stories in the human interest section of the different crimes that we were covering, it was this huge responsibility I felt to make sure that we were telling these in the way that honored the victims and honored the cases. And yes, these cases are compelling and sometimes they're intriguing and we think that we're enthralled, but at the heart of them, there are these real stories of real people that I'd mentioned before. And so I think that as soon as there was an opening within that team, and then the excitement of being able to share these stories, not only in the magazine, but also on people.com and then in the show is like another way to get the cases out there and have more people know about it. And so it was kind of a windy road that got me into crime, into a life of crime.
That led to your life of crime, yes.
Right, exactly. Well, but I hope to cover it and not, be accused of it.
Sure. That's a good way to go, yeah.
Congratulations on 20 years at People Magazine.
But wouldn't that be an interesting turn? Oh, she was the senior editor of crime at People Magazine.
Everyone thought they knew
yes,
her. Like,
and then
oh God, we got a script halfway ready already.
I think we do. I think we need to veer off and say, it's not. None of it's true. This is just fiction. We've just kind of created it. It's all
It's fiction based off true stories.
So check it out tonight. Tonight you have an episode, and it says here, bone chilling, and the details I know about it certainly are. So check that out. What is it, 9:15 a.m.? Oh, that's today. That's what time we're talking to you.
Wow.
What time is the show again tonight?
8 o'clock tonight.
8 o'clock. There we go, yeah.
And then on Discovery
and
Plus.
As I called in exactly the right time, I will know whether you've watched or not.
That's true.
Yes, you will. Thank you so much for your time this morning, Alicia. And if you would be so kind, tell your bosses I want my Entertainment Weekly back.
I'll get on that right now.
Okay,
you know, you can go to
that.
entertainmentweekly.com and read all the things.
Oh yeah, it's
go right now and do that.
Yeah.
He's old.
EW.com.
Thank you, Alicia. We appreciate it.
Thank you.